Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me. Now, America is under attack, and there's no other way to put it. There is literally no other way to describe what happened on Tuesday of this week. Overnight Tuesday, September 30th. In what seems to be scenes out of some kind of action movie. ICE agents rappelled out of helicopters, used drones, and crashed through windows in a raid on an apartment complex in Chicago. Sure, they detained 37 people that were here illegally, but in the process detained multiple U.S. citizens who were here legally, including 4 children, some of which were pulled out of the apartment complex in all sorts of degrees of undress. Those children were terrorized by the Trump administration, by these ICE agents. I understand they want to go after illegal immigrants. Okay, whatever. There's got to be a better way than terrorizing U.S. citizens to do it. Now, the Trump administration swears this is because these people were part of Tren de Agua, or whatever it is, out of Venezuela. And yes, there were a lot of Venezuelan migrants in that complex. Neighbors and people in the complex had talked about there being problems after this raid took place, and there had been small problems. But nothing that required that kind of a tactic. They literally broke through windows from the outside. They literally rappelled down from helicopters and off the roof into people's apartments, terrorizing U.S. citizens, all in the name of getting illegal immigrants. The American people are under attack by the Trump administration. How else do you describe this? How else do you describe terrorizing children by the U.S. federal government? Because that's exactly what happened. At least 4 children were detained and separated from their parents. The children were U.S. citizens, and from what I have read at this point, it appears that most of their parents were legal too. But now you have these children traumatized and being ripped apart from their families. How else do you describe this but an attack on the American people? I believe there needs to be an investigation into this. I believe Donald Trump should be impeached and removed from office for this. You do not get to just randomly arrest people and then figure it out later. That's not how that works in America. There were no warrants. There was no nothing. One witness was interviewed and said that they asked her if she had a warrant. She said no, and they arrested her anyway and put her in handcuffs. The children's arms were zip tied. All in the name of getting illegal immigrants. How, as a society, how as Americans are we supposed to reconcile the fact that we're supposed to be the freest nation on the face of the damn planet, yet look what we're doing. Look what we're doing. We're terrorizing children. How is that okay? How is that okay in any place on the face of this planet? Let alone in what's supposed to be the freest country in the world. That's not freedom. Our government terrorizing our children, that is not freedom. Don't even come at me with that stupid idea. Oh, well, they're just doing their job. No, they're not. They're attacking American people. They're arresting Americans with no warrants. detaining them without cause. Cops can't just arrest you. People can't just arrest you in America because you look like you may have committed a crime. That's profiling. It's not something we do in this country. You have to have some kind of proof that somebody committed a crime to arrest them. Also, if these people are living in an apartment complex, that means the management has their information. You could have asked the management who these people were. It's that easy. You should have known where they were living. If they were paying rent and living in this apartment complex, which usually you have to pay rent, usually you would have a name on a lease. That's usually how that works. So there had to be a better way than terrorizing these American citizens and attacking these children like they did. They were literally taken from their beds, put in zip ties, and shoved into U-Hauls. And from some witnesses, completely naked. At least one of them. We say that we care about children in this country. Everything Donald Trump says he wants to do is about protecting children. Wants to get rid of the LGBTQ. Why? Because he wants to protect children. Get rid of illegal immigrants because he wants to protect children. Yet in the process of this, he is destroying their sense of safety and security. He is traumatizing them. There just has to be a better way. You want to go after people that are here illegally? I get that. Okay. I think it's one of the dumbest things on earth to be going after just anybody who happens to be, in the country illegally. I think you should have to have committed a crime, like a violent crime or a drug crime, in order to be kicked out of the country. I think you should have to do something more serious than crossing an imaginary line. But okay, I get it. It's the policy. It's the policy they want to freaking cover, and that's what they want to do. And that's whatever. That's what the courts are for. That's what fighting back is for, right? That's what elections are for. But if you voted for Donald Trump, this is what you voted for. I don't want to see your YouTube videos, your TikTok videos talking about how, I didn't vote for this bullshit. It's exactly what you voted for. 100%. This is exactly what you voted for. Having U.S. citizens detained and arrested and held with no warrant, with no, not even probable cause. It's almost like ICE is raiding apartment complexes and raiding places just on the idea that they might find somebody. They don't even know who they're taking. And this on top of the 1,200 missing people from Alligator Alcatraz, who there again were taken under the cover of darkness with no rhyme or reason, no warrant, no nothing. We don't even know how many of those may have been U.S. citizens. But this is what you get when you elect a white nationalist or a Nazi as president of the United States of America. And if Donald Trump himself isn't a Nazi, Stephen Miller is. He is a self-avowed white supremacist. AKA Nazi. And whether or not you want to sit there and call Donald Trump a fascist or a Nazi or whatever, the fact is his policies tell you that he is. This isn't me trying to inflame violence. This isn't me trying to cause problems. This is me stating a fact. This is exactly what Adolf Hitler did to the Jewish people in Nazi Germany. Rounded them up for no reason, terrorizing even German citizens to do the job. And that's what we're doing right now in this country. And this is what you voted for if you voted for Donald Trump. He's destroying the rights of American citizens. He's going after people who aren't really doing anything wrong except existing. And going after immigrants who, many of them didn't even cross that imaginary line of their own free will. Many of them were drug across that line by their parents. Also, I believe if a child is born here, their parents should get to stay. If the child is considered a U.S. citizen, their parents should get to stay too. End of story. But the fact is, this raid is nothing more than an attack on the U.S. population. It's an attack on a U.S. city. And more than that, it's Donald Trump trying to play action hero. There's no need for the show of force that they did. There's no reason for them to kick in windows. There's no reason for them to be rappelling down the side of a building and breaking into the freaking building just in order to detain literally everybody in it. They'll tell you they only detained 37 people that were, but those are the 37 that were there illegally, right? But they're not telling you about every single one of the U.S. citizens that they detained. The only ones we know directly about are the people that are witnesses, that were in the building, that were detained with no cause, and those 4 children. At least 4 children is what ICE is admitting to. At least 4 children were detained for no reason, pulled out of their beds. Some of them, in different degrees of undress, as I mentioned earlier. How are we allowing this to happen in this country? Why has Congress completely abdicated its responsibility to the American people? Why is Donald Trump attacking U.S. citizens? You tell me. Because I think this whole ICE thing needs to be shut down. This whole ICE bullshit that he's doing, it needs to be shut down until we know exactly what's going on. Because we're obviously not doing it right. We're not following legal, protocols. Because there was not a warrant shown. People were drug out of their apartments, detained for hours with no cause. Doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem American. And yeah, I'm pissed. Every American should be pissed. Because it's not the federal government's job to randomly arrest American citizens. Those are detainments and arrests that can have lasting effects on these people. Even if they didn't do anything wrong, even if they were released, people have seen them going in handcuffs. outbuildings. Many of these people are going to be seen as criminals now, even though they've done nothing wrong. I hope every single one of the U.S. citizens that were detained, including the children, I hope every single one of them files a lawsuit against the federal government and wins. And it's just disgusting. I cannot believe this is going on in this country. It's bad enough how you've been doing it, right? Picking people up from their court dates, crashing through their car windows just to drag them out of the car, even though they're legal. And now you've stooped to this level. Such cowards that you have to bust through windows in the middle of the freaking night to drag out children in zip ties and handcuffs. Is that the kind of cowards you are, ICE? Is that the kind of coward you are, Donald Trump? Yeah, it is. At the end of the day, y'all are just a bunch of little bitches. It's absolutely disgusting. Those 2026 elections are coming up very soon. Keep that in mind. Don't be angry now and then forget. Stay angry. Remember it in November of 2026 and vote those cowards out of office in Congress. Only elect people who will not abdicate their responsibility to the American population. I'll see you down the road. Good luck.